Hello everyone, Patrick LeBlanc, Principal Program Manager, Microsoft Fabric. Join Amanda as she demonstrates the latest upgrades to the Power BI List Slicer. With restricted selection for hierarchy leaf nodes, you now have precise control over your data visualizations. Say goodbye to cluttered selections and hello to streamlined insights. Let's take a look.
We have a large update this month for our new List Slicer visual that we released in preview back in October. This update, in general, allows for even more control over how the slicer both looks and functions, allowing you to create almost any list slicer design you can think of. First up, this month you can now restrict selection in the slicer to only the last level or leaf node when using a hierarchy in the slicer. By default, whenever you pick a higher level within a hierarchy slicer, it selects basically all of the subnodes within that level. But whenever you go to select the Restrict to Leaf Nodes option within the Selection section of the Slicer Settings card, you'll now only be able to select the most specific bottommost layer of the slicer. Now selecting any of the higher nodes in the slicer will always expand or collapse that level instead of selecting it, forcing users to have to always pick that most specific level. Next up are two new formatting options for the slicer, Label and Images. Label allows you to add a secondary row to each value in the slicer to provide some additional information. If you'd like to add this secondary label, all you need to do is go and turn on the label card under the Callout Values section of the formatting pane. Here you can add any field that you like to generate this label, and then of course you have similar formatting options as to the values themselves. This feature can be really useful whether you're wanting to add a subtitle with additional information or perhaps an additional metric to help users decide which value they want to filter by. The new Images card lets you do just that, add images to your slicer. You can add a unique image from your model to go along with each value of your slicer. All you need to do is open up the Images card and select the field that has your image in it. And then of course you can control some basic formatting for that image, including, but not limited to, things like image fit, transparency, saturation, and position. Last but not least, the way you control formatting for the various states of the slicer has been completely reworked. Previously, you were limited to default, hover, press, selected, and mixed as your states for the various components of the slicer, and the formatting was always shared across all the fields within a hierarchy. Now you can format each field of your hierarchy separately using the series dropdown of the Apply Settings to card. And then for each of these, you'll also have control over a subset of the following states: all, rest, hover, press, selected, and mixed. We have updated the dropdown to conditionally show only the states that are most commonly applicable for that specific card's component. So for example, you won't see mix as an option for the expand collapse icon. But additionally, we now also have an advanced toggle that breaks down the states you can configure into selection, expansion, and interaction states. Under Selection State, you'll see All, Selected, Unselected, and Mixed. Under Expansion States, you'll see All, Expanded, and Collapsed. And then under Interaction State, you'll see All, Hover, Press, Rest, and Disabled. So for example, I could say anytime any value is selected in the slicer, I want it to have a light blue fill with a 50% transparency. And now if I go and select something inside the slicer, you'll see that light blue color. But I could also do something much more complex, like for example, if the value was selected, it was in a hierarchy and that node was expanded, and I'm now hovering over it, I could set the color to instead a gray. And now once I select quarter 4 and then hover over it, you'll see that there is in fact a gray shading only when I hover on it. But if I go and hover over quarter 3, which isn't selected, it does not get that same gray coloring. These new controls allow you to get incredibly precise about the formatting for basically every possible state of the individual values of the slicer. And do remember, you can do this separately for each level of the hierarchy if you wanted to. You'll have these new state controls for the callout values, images, selection icon, expand collapse icon, and button cards.
Wow, what a great demo. If you have any questions, comments, or you'd like to see more demos, you know what to do. Post it in the comments below. If this is your first time visiting the Power BI YouTube channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, a big thumbs up. And as always, for Microsoft and myself, thanks for watching. See you in the next video.